Hi, how's it going? So let's go ahead and create this printed circuit board. First of all, make sure your variant that you want is selected, set as current. Right. Let's go to Reports, Bill of Materials. Then make sure all your information for your parts is selected. If you don't have this full list of parts or in this library, you can download it from the link below or from previous videos. Or if you were following along with your own library, then this is how you check. You can check your columns, see which columns you want to have all the information you need, and then you can make the column visible and not visible. You can also drag the column to put it in the proper place. Once you're satisfied that your schematic and parts has all the information you need, let's create a PCB document. So go to your project, right-click on it, and then choose Add New to Project PCB. This PCB project document gets added automatically, and see how it goes underneath the schematic? There we go. You may have a PCB project document already, and that's fine. Now what I do is right-click and save, or save just how you do it. I have some other PCB documents here. That's fine. I'll just choose this name or overwrite it. You can name it whatever you want. I like to put the revision in the document. I didn't here for the schematic, but do whatever works for you. Click Save, and I'll overwrite this with the blank one, and there we go. So now there are a couple of things we want to set up. First of all, we need to get the parts on the board, like onto the design. And to do that, let's just make sure here. Go to your schematic. This is the moment of truth. We need to go to Design, Update PCB Document, Validate Changes. If everything's green, that's good. Execute changes. Then it takes us to the PCB document. If there are any layers you don't want, you can turn them off. So like right here, how do we know what layer this is? This is a mechanical 7 layer for all this text. I don't want that in there. So let's go to the mechanical layer and then hide that. Okay, now I'm back on the top layer. That's fine. There's also this box, which is a room that's automatically created from the sheet. The schematic sheet. I'm going to delete this since we have so few components. Now let's save the document with Control S. This is the board outline. We can define our board outline. And notice how it's offset from the origin. If you want, you can edit the origin by going to Edit and Origin and then Set wherever you want. But I'm going to leave it where it is, right there. For the board outline, though, I'm going to make it 3 inches by 3 inches or 3000 mils by 3000 mils. So to do that, let's go and place a line. You can also do place line. It's up to you. Now, I would go over here. But before I do that, there's one more thing. The grid. Let's set the grid to something large, like 100 mils for this kind of thing. I'm at 5 mils right now. So you can hit G on your keyboard and then do 100 mils instead. And then if you want to do that, you can probably select something else like the view and then your grid options. So view, grids, setup snap grid, toggle visibility grid, and so on. Like if you set up snap grid, you can set it manually there too. All right. So now that we're on a 100 mil grid, which is great, I'm going to place my line and hit Tab to make sure you set this to the top overlay layer. Top overlay is a generic layer you can put pretty much anything on and work with. Now, let's place the line. So I'm going in the 3000 mil direction over here. So 3000. Great. And then click once and then click again. I don't know why it needs 2 clicks, but that's just how it is. In the Y direction, we're in the 3000 mils. 1, click again. 1, click again. And double click. Right click to end that line that you were drawing, and then right click again to get out of the line drawing mode. Next, we want to do something pretty cool. So go to Design and then Board Shape Design from Selected Objects. Now, if you don't have anything selected, it won't work. So you actually need to go ahead and highlight this, then do Design, Board Shape, defined from selected objects. Very good. This is our board. If you really want to get into board editing mode, you could do your design board shape. Well, first of all, view, then board planning mode, and then you can do a lot. You can do the design, redefine the board shape, but we won't do all that. Let's go back into 2D layout mode. Now, that's how we set up our printed circuit board or PCB. If you want to try out Altium Designer Free Trial, just use the link in the description below. Okay, and now that our board is set up, you are ready for placement. Right, so getting into placement, let's set something up real quick. First of all, right-click your PCB project tab, split vertical, change the panels for your projects to off so we have more space. Very good. We're going to select components on the left on the schematic and move them on the right automatically. So keep in mind that when you click on one document type, the menu changes and the options change. When you click on the other one, the menu and the options change. Let's go to our schematic, go to Tools, and enable cross-select mode. You'll know that it's selected once the little box is around the icon. By default, I think it's not selected. So go to Tools, cross-select mode. What happens is when you select a component, it gets highlighted on the PCB. You can grab it, but it gets a little messy. That doesn't really work that well. What you might want to do is click on this and then click on your schematic in your PCB document, then go to Tools, Component Placement, Reposition Selected Components. That's a very common method and it works just fine, you know, but there's another way that I prefer that I've gotten used to. This other way is to just change my preferences. So go to your preferences in this little wheel here, go to System, Navigation, Reposition Selected Components under the checked mark Cross Selection option. Then click Apply, then OK. So then what happens is when we select a component, as long as we're in Cross Select mode, Tools, Cross Select mode, when we select a component, it gets picked up automatically on the PCB and we reposition selected components. So I'm going to click and place it there. Let's look at our reference PCB to see how it looks. I'll choose the 3D view, maximize that a bit, and this is how it looks. So our USBs on the lower right, connectors on the left, a barrel jack on the upper right. So let's do it. First, I like to place my connectors just to know how large my PCB is going to be. And a lot of times, connectors get locked in by the mechanical engineer or the project owner. They just want their connectors a certain way. So that's what I place first. Okay. Next we have this connector. I'll place it. Place it on the left here. I'm just trying to place these components so they're in the ballpark. Because I also have to place the mounting holes. You know, do I have enough space for these to be how I want them? Is the question. Space, rotate that. Let's pick up this other jumper. Place that. Right. Is this barrel jack connector rotated the proper way? Let's go to View and 3D Layout mode. Okay, I'm so glad that I have 3D models to be able to decide this. Otherwise, I have to look at the part, look at its datasheet, then its footprint, then look at my footprint in my library, and then I can know which way it's rotated. This way, I don't have to remember or look for all that. So it's placed correctly. Good. So is the USB, the micro USB. So are these connectors. Very nice. All right, if you want to go back to 2D view, just hit 2 on the keyboard. 3D view is 3. Now, let's place this chip. Once I place my connectors, I like to place my chips to see what all they're connected to. Okay, space is already getting kind of tight, huh? Now, let's place the mounting holes. Interesting. Now, here's the thing. If we're going to place screws in here, This seems really close to the connector, honestly. I might need to make this board larger. But anyhow, let's assume we're just putting standoffs in there and some screw that's small enough. I don't know. I'll probably move this down a bit. Move it to the edge. I think I can get away with this if I put it on a smaller grid. If I hit G on my keyboard and do like 50 mil grid, I could do something here. And also, these are on the edge. I don't want them on the edge. I want them like this. Okay, yeah, this board is not large enough. For this diode, let's go ahead and place that. I want to keep my connection short, so I'll place it aligned like this. Also, in general, you want to place your parts in such a way that they have the same orientation. So let's say you put pin 1 on the to the left for all your diodes, or for any polarized capacitor or polarized thing. Try to have them all going in the same direction. It's very useful for people who test your board. For the capacitor, select it. I'll place it somewhere here, maybe. Okay, that works. Place this chip over here. For the LED, this LED is supposed to be not fitted. Place this over here. Next is this resistor. I don't really have much space going on here, so I need to expand this PCB a bit. You can upload your own designs from Altium or EAGLE using Altium Online Viewer for free. Check it out in the link below. But I'll just place them maybe like this. Let's look at the jumper. Alright, that works. Okay. How do I know how to place them? I look at these things called air wires or rat's nest lines, and I want to keep these as short as reasonable. So instead of rotating the part like this, it might be trickier for me to route from the bottom of this to the top of that. It makes the line unnecessarily long, so I'd rotate it. I see ground to ground line, net R3 underscore 1 to the same net. For the programming resistor, this needs to go somewhere, maybe over here. Yeah, let's look at our reference PCB. Yeah, okay. Next for C2. One side is connected to ground, the other is it's ground. Strange. One is connector and one is the ground. I could put it here. Yeah, since it's near the load, I think I'll put it there, huh? Alright, let's see what else we've got. Is that all of them? Oh, what's this R1 hanging out over here? Where's R1? What's cool about cross select is you can, in your PCB mode, choose cross select and click on here, and then it shows to the R1. Ah, there it is. It's hiding. Okay, I have it selected. What I can do is go to Tools, Reposition. This R1 should be close to these LEDs, huh? Sort of. Maybe I will place it like this. Little tricky. This footprint is useful because it tells me how far off the edge I can go. And I am on a 50 mil grid, so what's the problem? Alright, cool. I think I can make this work. I mean, I should definitely be able to make this work. All right, we need to look at some mechanical aspects to this board though. For instance, this solder jumper, I don't want to put this in the middle of the printed circuit board because the purpose of this is to cut it if I need to. I'd put this on the edge. As for LEDs, put those on the edge too. Like if you look at this example, we want the LEDs on the end. Anything we can have to access manually, we put near the end so it's easy to do that. And this is not fitted. If I want to put it in later, I don't want to have to go in the middle of the PCB to do that. All right. So maybe over here. It's my jumper. This area is kind of tight. So when we're placing components, we also need to look at the space that we can have for routing. If the tracks are kind of short, if the space is limited and the tracks are say 10 mils, whatever width, we may not have the space for it, you know. Also too, this is overlapping on my jumpers. Look at that. That's not good. I probably move these further up. Then there's the issue of this resistor. See, this is the programming resistor. Notice how I overlap these components and they turn green all of a sudden. This is Altium's way of letting us know that we have some issues. Yeah. So I'm going to expand this board. What I'll do is I will move this shape up here. It's a little strange. There we go. I think that's enough space. All right, let's go ahead and change our filters. Okay, then go to Design, Define from Selected Objects. Okay. Clear filter. Let's make sure. Components. Move this up, this mounting hole. And remember how I said it's easier to test a board if your parts have the right polarity, like they're going in the same direction. Let's do that for the LEDs. Their bar shows from right to left. Now for this net, I'm going to move it like this. Okay. Save. I think we're ready to route the printed circuit board. Okay, so very good. We have set up our PCB, we did the placement, and we are ready to route.